and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget, you can watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And you've heard me say it before, staying hydrated is important. But did you know you could support a Mississippi-based water company by doing just that? So joining us today is Miss Tracy Batson. She's with Inda Bay Water, and they're up to some good things. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, I said, Miss Tracy, I was like, man, I feel bad that I just found out about you guys, to which you said that's okay because y'all are kind of new on the block.
We are very new on the block. We have been in production since March of 2023, so we're just getting a year into it and getting our name out and just having the opportunity to share this water with the whole state.
I think it's cool, but I love that your website said it began over 10,000 years ago. So I'm going to assume you were there, Tracy.
Yes.
Just kidding. So take us back 10,000 years ago. What was happening here in Mississippi to make Inda Bay water possible?
Well, according to archaeologists who came and dug at the spring, it was quenching the thirst of many people even that long ago. They have found artifacts that date back that far. Of course, I'm not quite that old, but the land came into my husband's family in 1822.
Where is the land here in Mississippi?
We're in Stone County, Mississippi. We're about 25 miles north of the Gulfport, Biloxi area, about 30 miles south of Hattiesburg. So the land obviously has been there for a long time, but his family came from the Carolinas, stopped off in Georgia, got him a cute wife, came on to this area and literally settled because of the springs. And we actually found letters where he wrote back to his family and said, we've come upon the largest spring we've ever seen, runs into a bay that's 2 miles wide and 5 miles deep and plenty of grass, and y'all come on over and let's live here. And they did. And that was in 1822. He named the area Inda, Mississippi, I-N-D-A, and the bay that the water flows into, Inda Bay. So there's where that name
came from. Okay.
So flows into Red Creek, into the Pascagoula, into the Gulf of Mexico, and it is a very large spring coming out many different places on the hillside. 3,800 gallons a minute. So lots of water has been flowing for a long time.
So you'd think back in, when they were settling and moving, that finding fresh water sources were super important to sort of pop up around. It's neat to think that it's sort of hung in there all this time. Has your husband's family continued to own that particular land for the last, 200 years now?
Yes, 200 years, a little over 200 years now. We actually purchased the land from his dad about 10 years ago. And we jokingly say one night that we were smoking something really good and decided we were going to bottle this water and share it with people outside the family. And
so y'all were the first ones, your husband and yourself, Tracy, the first ones to think, hey, this should be shared outside of the family?
So actually his grandfather had the vision and told my father-in-law in the 1950s, he said, son, you do not need to go off to college. You need to stay and bottle this water. And my father-in-law said, Daddy, you're crazy. Nobody drinks bottled water. And in the 50s, that was true. But, today with, our water supply and our infrastructure, bottled water is a precious thing. So we're excited to be able to have that vision come to fruition after some efforts and getting it out, like I said, to everyone around.
So I have to know, when your husband probably took you home for the first time, Tracy, did he say, hey, I've got a spring for you to see? Like, come taste my water? How do you introduce? In terms of, for his family, was it something they recognized was still special? Would they go and get fresh water out of the spring? How did the family use it prior to?
So his grandfather had some of the first running water in the area, and he actually had a water wheel, and actually he had 8 children, so it was to his benefit to figure out how to get the water up the hill to where they lived. And so they utilized the water then. The bay that we discussed, Inda Bay, we have farmed catfish successfully, crawfish, prawns, and even alligators.
What?
So we've used the water for different ways, and then we just kind of said, you know what, we need to be bottling this water. It tastes so good. It is so unique. And we entered into about a 4 or 5 year adventure of that process of getting the water certified and jumping through all the hoops to get that done. And so And finally, March of last year, we were able to do it successfully.
I can imagine that is a huge undertaking. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to think, like, how do you just go from like a spring and then to these wonderful bottles of water? If they're looking over at SuperTalk TV, they can see them sitting on the desk. I'm holding one up as well. I mean, it's a bottle of water.
Yes.
I mean, and it had to get in there, so that had to be sort of a process. What was the first step after you and your husband were like, we're going to do this? We're going to be the generation within the family that gives this a go.
So we first geologists, engineers. We had to get certified through the state. Just a lot of red tape, a lot of paperwork, a lot of surveys and on-site and water analysis, and just any kind of crazy thing you can think of, we did. And then in the middle of COVID was when we started this process. So you can imagine how difficult and challenging that was to get things done. And then about the time we started building the water bottling facility, we had the supply chain issues. So, I mean, we say, if you could think of the worst time in our lives to try to open a business or start a business like this, we picked it. So, but we persevered and were able to get it done.
So does it still pull from the spring into the bottling water? And I mean, I think, Tracy, I'm just going by what I can see on the TVs when they bottle like sodas and things. Is it as a line system where it just pours water into bottles? I mean, it feels so simple, but yet so complicated.
We bottle right there at the source. The water never touches air. It literally comes out of the ground through pipes into the bottles, and our facility is automated, so it's 150 bottles a minute is what comes through. So it is we're a small chain compared to something you might see at a name brand bottling facility, but same principle though. We blow our own bottles; they're on site. Then it goes through the filler, the labeler, and packer, and then on the trucks.
This had to be quite the investment. Yeah, for you and your family. She's like,
yes.
Took her breath away.
Yes, it was. And you have to know, I'm a physical therapist by trade, and my husband is a farmer by trade. So when we endeavored into the manufacturing business, even though it is an agribusiness, yes, it's a huge challenge, very expensive. And we've had a lot of great state support. I don't even want to start naming names of all of the people that have supported us and assisted us, because I'm going to miss someone. It's been so many wonderful people that have yes, we need to do this for the state of Mississippi. This is the only Mississippi-owned water bottling facility.
And the difference is the bottling part, like the water's coming from Mississippi. It's not just that you bottle it and then you sell it, or anything differently. Like it's Mississippi water,
right, all the way underneath.
So, are there other springs like yours, like Inda Springs, in Mississippi that just aren't being utilized for this, or is this truly just a unique combination of all the recipe coming together to make this viable for this type of project?
So the geologists, we had multiple geologists. Some of them are just amazingly smart individuals that have just poured into Mississippi, know a lot about Mississippi. And they say there are other springs, around, but this is by far the largest. And also this water, it's a bold statement, but it is some of the most pure water on the market. Literally, it is a uniquely pure water.
Meaning, like if you were looking for pure water, what does that mean?
So if you're looking for pure water, the first thing you need to look for is it's called TDS, total dissolved solid or sediment. So if you could think of maybe the purest water, that you see on the market that you love, and you're going to see their TDS 150 to 220. This water's been tested over 29 years. It ranges from 17 to 21. It has nothing but minerals in it, and we do nothing to it, and that's what makes it so good. You have to have those minerals, those electrolytes, to truly hydrate. You can drink water all day long, but if it doesn't have what needs to be in it for you to absorb it, it's just going through you. And this water is so natural and so pure that when you drink it, it truly hydrates you. It's and that's
so no filler, not fillers, obviously. Filters is the word I was looking for, Miss Tracy.
No fillers either.
No
but
fillers,
you're
no
right.
filters, no all of the things in that way, because it's just mind-boggling to me that you can just, God gives it to you in the right way, and you can get it straight to a consumer.
You put it. That's what we say. We did nothing to this water. God made this water. We just put it in a bottle. That's one of our things that we say. And it runs through like a micron filter just to get the particles out, and then it goes into that bottle, and we do not touch it. No human. It never touches air, and there is no intervention. It is nothing stripped, nothing added, completely pure. And that's why when you taste it, it tastes different, and you feel different, and it really hydrates you.
All right. Well, we got more with Miss Tracy and Inda Water coming up next. But right now, we're continuing our conversation with Miss Tracy Batson. She is with Inda Bay Water. They're out of Stone County. Her children will be the 8th generation on their family's land. I love that in and of itself. And this spring has been special to the Batson family would be the family for over 200 years now, and you're finally able to share it with the rest of Mississippi through your bottled water. So the process, once you finally got the first bottled water out, what was that like? I mean, it was a multi-year process for you and your family. Lots of things had to come together, hurdles to jump. Finally, you get the factory up and running, and you see the bottles coming down the line. What kind of feeling was that, Tracy?
Well, I've never won a lottery, but it felt very close to that, if I had to imagine. Just such a feeling of just completion, and oh goodness, all the hard work, seeing that come to fruition was just amazing. And then probably like the next day we said, oh, now we have to sell it. We've made it, now we have to sell it. But I mean, as I mentioned before, so many people God put in our path, just unbelievable opportunities in such a short period of time for an absolute nobody startup, just with a really good product and just willingness to get out there. And so many people have just have been so supportive. We're able to be in the Walmart area now. We are in every super Walmart in the 6 coastal counties, and we are looking to move up into central and north Mississippi as quickly as possible. We are here in central Mississippi a little bit, but not as much as we would like, but just a huge opportunity for us to be able to get our water
So who's a good person to – I mean, obviously your Walmarts or your grocery stores, but what about your smaller grocery stores or mom-and-pop type places? Like who's a good fit to get cases of Inda Bay? And is it in cases, or do you sell it also individually, like for like grab-and-go kind of scenarios?
For both. They're individual water and 24-pack, and anyone that wants to scan and ring it up, we can just about get it to them. So, smaller grocery stores for sure. We're, we are in Nico's, we're in Sullivan's, we're in corner markets, and then also we are in grocery stores. But it really takes the manager, the person that's in charge of the store, to want the water. You can be approved, you can have all your paperwork ready, but it requires that manager to say, hey, we want some Inda Bay spring water, and then we will definitely get it to them.
Can individuals purchase cases from your website, or is it kind of needing to go through where your other normal places to pick up?
Right. Mostly through the stores, through the distributors. We do sell directly from the facility, but we sell by the pallet, which is 72 cases. And, the average person is probably not going to load that into their minivan. But,
But if you want to.
We will make it happen.
You'd be surprised, Tracy, what can fit into a minivan when a mom's is dedicated to getting it sort of in there.
That is the truth.
But that would be something if you are, if that's something your family does often or drinks often, or you want to make that kind of investment to go ahead and sort of stock up. I mean, it wouldn't be the furthest thing it's not the first thing that comes to mind. Most people buy by cases, but the way folks do things now, it wouldn't surprise me if large families might want to, I'll get a pallet, last us a couple of months.
Well, we actually have a large number of people that will buy by the pallet and split up between 2, 3, 4 families. So we see a lot of that, and of course we love it, come get the water. So like I said, we can load it onto almost anything, and you've kind of given me that challenge of I'm looking for that minivan now.
Looking for the minivan that can put all the seats down and sort of figure it out. If you do, I want a picture of that. But I know as hard-headed as I am, I would be the one to drive down there and say, let's make this happen. If my husband's listening, he's like, yes, she absolutely would be, Tracy. But no, I mean, obviously, here on Good Things, we always love supporting Mississippi-based businesses. But it feels like you guys are a little more unique even than that. It's not just about supporting your hometown folks. It's also about doing something a little bit differently. So when folks are in their super Walmarts or in their Ramey's or their corner markets and they're standing there in the aisle of bottled water, you've got all the different brands to sort of look for. Mm-hmm. If they're, other than thinking about, yes, it's good to support somebody local, what makes Inda Bay water just a better choice because it's a better choice?
Right. So all water is not created equal, just like, I guess any other product. There are some that are better than others. The word that you're looking for when you are looking to purchase water is the word natural, not spring. Natural means just like what Inda Bay is. It is straight from what God made. It's not no intervention at all, run through a filter, and it is the state does require you to flash for bacteria, a flash treatment for bacteria, but that's all water. But natural is the word that you're looking for, because then you're going to get very pure water.
So that's to be a good word. And so Inda Bay has that right on the mm-hmm. Top of the water. It's 100% natural spring water. That's a good lesson learned
mm-hmm.
today, Miss Tracy.
There you go.
Richard from Rankin County is curious if you guys have 5 gallons for like water dispensers and offices.
Well, I'm so glad Richard asked that, because next week we are going to have 5-gallon water, and we know it's going to be available in the on the coast, and it's going to be available in Hattiesburg. And so, Richard, let's find somebody up here in this Jackson area and even further north that is would like to get this water out to everyone. So, yes, the answer is yes.
So my, I guess, challenge would just be, if bottled water is something you bring into your home and you're going to these locations anyway to buy your groceries and you see it, at least buy a case and then give it a try.
Absolutely. Give it a try, because it's my product. I believe in it. I know what it is, but you have to give it a try, and then you can taste the difference. And our motto is, give it a try and let our legacy douse your thirst.
I love that. I know that your husband's dad, was it his grandfather that first had the idea of bottling the water? It was his grandfather. So he's probably no longer here to sort of see it come to fruition, although I'm sure he's watching it all transpire. So what's it like for your husband to know that, his family has had this spring? This spring is what not brought your husband's family to Mississippi, but it's what got them to settle. Correct. Where you guys call home. To see this idea that's been tossed around for so many decades to finally be out here in the market.
Yes, it is just like I said. I'm not a lucky person, so I've never really won anything, but it feels like we won something by finally being able to get it done. And he feels the same way. And it's just even better because everyone that tries it literally will come back and say, yes, there is a difference. That is good water, and just to be able to share it and know that we were able to get that accomplished. We have 3 girls, and we have high hopes that one day, as they get older, they'll want to come into the business too, and just to see that, just to see something really positive, be handed down to our children and be able to continue to live. Oh, absolutely, and be shared with the great state. But we want the great country to have it. We're excited about all the possibilities ahead.
I know nothing about springs, Tracy, but my biggest fear is won't it run dry?
I know, and you would think that, but it's been measured over 29 years now. I think this is the 29th year that we've actually had, testing and measurements, and it is pouring out and shows no signs of stopping. And that's what the geologists said. They said this is one of the biggest springs ever, that it just has an abundant amount of water, and how it comes up and the rock it goes through, the minerals that it's able to pick up. It just makes it delicious
and nutritious, but also local. And I think it's something feels like a love letter from y'all's family to the rest of the to the country, or at least to the state too. And what a privilege it is to sort of get to experience that. So again, I can just go back to, if folks want to look, Tracy, and see where it might be in their area, to just pick up a case and taste it for themselves, where do they go to do that?
So our website is indabayspringwater.com. And just, off the top, Corner Markets, Sullivan's, Nico's, Rouse's, and Super Walmarts are where you would go look. Now, not every single one is carrying it, but if you ask the manager, get those cases.
Tell
in
them
the
you heard it on
stores.
Good Things,
That's
too.
right.
And so Richard from Rankin County will figure out your 5 gallons for water dispensers and offices that's coming.
Yes.
It's coming, too.
Yes.
All right, Miss Tracy. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.